85 to 90% of P&G coffee, smallholder aggregated coffee.
Do you have a manual for temperature setup?
Not actively managed plants.
사실 지금 좀 머리가 복잡해요. 좋은 커피가 있긴 했거든요.
이 정도 커피가 well-produced, well-processed P&G is like a very balanced coffee. Then you have good elevations, good variety, good soil content, beautiful coffee that hasn't been captured.
So that's what we say. True, coffee is going to rebuild.
이제 여기가 파푸아뉴기니의 국제공항이거든요. 포트월스라고 하는데 서쪽에 마운틴 하겐이라는 데가 있는데 고도가 좀 높은 곳에 커피들을 보러 이틀 동안 거기를 탐험하러 갑니다. 이번에 무슨 일이 있습니다. 우리가 이제 부산에서 인천공항을 이제 왔어야 됐잖아요. 근데 비가 엄청 많이 왔고 막 낭매도 치고 막 이래서 일단 우리가 부산에서 인천을 가야 되는데 여기서도 딜레이가 됐어요. 그래서 막 뛰어가서 어쩔지 우린 탔는데 우리 가방은 타지 못했다. 이번에 이제 챙긴 게 하나 챙겨봤고
단발로 일주일 생활하기 빠밤.
Fruits and vegetable mayonnaise.
Nice meeting you guys. Is there a company who does collecting cherries in one site and then they process coffee?
85 to 90% of P&G coffee, smallholder aggregated coffee. Highlands is mostly parchment buying. Western Highlands, you'll see cherry buying stations, and they'll have like a daily price, and then people will sort of outbid each other on cherry. But what you'll see tomorrow is they have their own fields and their own mills.
오,
와, 잘 어울린다. 그거 너무 싫어.
너무 잘 어울린다 이거.
이런 경험은 진짜 특이하다.
수고했네 형제요.
원래는 군인 데리고 다녔다고요?
군대 들어가서 사인하고 데리고 오면.
갑자기 겁이 확 나네.
I think you're just be.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Papua New Guinea. My name's Curtis with Benchmark Coffee Traders. Really excited about this trip, taking you guys to Stingray State, Papua New Guinea coffee in action. Hopefully we'll taste some really good coffees.
Explain how we met.
We met at SCA. I was a lead instructor at Roasting 101, maybe.
Oh yes,
And
2009.
And then fast forward to 2017, we reconnected at the Casa Dorada. I bought the #1 coffee from him. And then we continued being judges until 2020, till COVID.
우리가 이렇게 농장을 직접 오는 게 실질적으로 시스템 구조 자체가 균일성이 확보되는 건가? 예를 들어 파치먼트를 작은 농장에서 사서 매입해서 쓰는 건지 또는 체리를 사는 건지 어떤 부분을 예전에 개선할 수 있을지 그런 것들을 많이 물어봐야 되고 실제로 보고 작은 농장들 같은 경우에 도울 수 있는 것들이 그런 의지가 있는 곳인가 그런 것들을 좀 해보시는 농장이 있다면 그런 것들을 해보면 좋고요.
See, what we are doing here is we are hand sorting coffee. Mainly what we do is we separate the berry borer.
메인 시즌 P&G.
Yeah, but it's ending sooner and sooner. Like it's basically all the harvesting's done now. It used to be May to September, October. The last couple of years it's winding down in July, but he's seeing some green on the plants, so he expects another harvest around October.
Typically, July is the busiest. The last 2 years hasn't been that way.
So you have a shorter season with half the amount of yield, so very low availability, but the quality is good.
To see all of the grades.
제가 먹었을 때 피베리는 괜찮은데 결과적으로는 AA가 6개 컵이 가장 유니포미티가 좋았다. 뜨거우면서 식으면서까지 계속 품질이 유지가 잘 되는 거다.
처음부터 끝까지 계속 식었을 때도 짱짱하게 있는 건 AA 그런데 초콜릿이나 만약에 AA하고 A 정도를 워싱 스테이션에서 우리가 분양을 이만큼 될 때 이렇게 좀 해달라고
얘기를 했는데 AA 같은 경우는 살 수 있는 물량이 당장 그게 없을 거예요.
I've always historically tried to like have 30% of what I book is for spot availability because you can't ask a new buyer to immediately make a decision. So I just have always done that. Now that's a little bit tough, so I don't have any spot availability for 2026 booked yet. We're all aligned on like maintaining the relationships. We're not trying to just like develop new relationships every year. That's the way to sort of build consistency. And people that I feel like they're just buying for coverage, they'll disappear next year. Sometimes if we have excess or something, sure, happy to do it, but that's not what we've really built our business on.
this flowers blossom to this. So after a certain time the flowers dry and they fall off, and whatever the stalk is, it gets converted to cherry like this. See, dry spells after harvesting very important for the plant to go into stress, otherwise you lose out on yield. Whatever you have cut and thrown, see, always in a coffee plant, you know, there will always be a sucker growing from the main stem. What you do is you leave 2 or 3 healthy suckers, and when they come to a certain height, you select which is the best one, and the remaining 2 you throw them. After harvesting, we actually use a cicature. So you remove all the dry twigs, spent wood. So pruning process is a very important process in coffee cultivation.
파푸아뉴기니만의 특성이 있는 것 같아요. 이곳만의 룰 같은 것도 있는 것 같아요. 사실 지금 좀 머리가 복잡해요. 여기서 어떤 가치를 만들어낼 수 있을까가 사실 좀 고민이에요. 일단 첫 번째 고민은 커피를 수입할 수 있는 루트가 굉장히 다른 데에 비해 되게 제한적이어가지고 어떻게 여기서 커피를 가지고 있을지가 일단 감이 안 오고, 두 번째로 이제 커핑을 한번 하고 왔잖아요. 좋은 커피가 있긴 했거든요. 거기서 좋았던 것조차 구매할 수 있는 환경이 아직 아니다 보니까 막연함이 있습니다. 오늘은 파푸아뉴기니 2일차, 단벌 신사가 이제 4일차. 어제는 커피가 조금 배전도가 약간 높은 타입이었고 나쁘지는 않았는데 조금 더 라이트하게 볶았을 때 어떻게 발현되는지도 한번 체크해보고 싶다는 이제 의견들이 있어가지고 어제 로스팅을 새로 했고 한번 비교 테스트를 해보고 있어요. 괜찮은 샘플들을 좀 채취해갈 생각입니다.
CBD has been a big problem for the past 5 years. So half of the coffee here is, half of the plantations is being used. And what happens is there's a lot of farms. So the CBD goes there and keeps driving. It gets all to the neighboring farm.
So that has been like since like 5 years.
But also because P&G is year-round harvesting, it provides a year-round food source. So not other farms in Central America have CBD, but it's one season, then beetle loses its food source. And then for management, they use alcohol traps. Like I said, 85-90% of P&G coffee is smallholder, not actively managed plants. So P&G was barely on the specialty coffee map, first started in 2012, but a well-produced, well-processed P&G is like a very balanced coffee without a blend, a very balanced single origin coffee. If you can implement better processing, then you have good elevations, good variety, good soil content. You have beautiful coffee that hasn't been captured.
This is just a small sip of the experience for me as I'm tasting P&G. I think this one has like really good potential. Have you guys ever tried the mechanical drying machine?
Their perspective is that sun drying is better. If the weather doesn't permit, then they use that as a backup. His perspective is still that it's not a better form of drying, or some of the beans like touch the walls and get affected by that.
So I was thinking if we can do a little bit of like sun drying for a few days and then we can finish it.
Finish in the dryer.
Yeah, like some
Consistency.
That's more important for us. I still believe that like human touch still needs our hands. If we're talking about big volume, we can find more efficiency on it.
Okay. I'm coming to go finish, eh?
My name is Peter Wandan, former police officer. So we produce coffee, tea. So tea is on the other side of the Wagi village. There's a river on there. But this side we produce coffee, produce quality coffee.
파치먼트를 밖에서 사와서 이제 건조하는 거.
You can mount it together only after it reaches a moisture percentage of say 24 and above that. You mount it together, heat will form inside and it will start catching fungus.
왜 근데 사와서 건조하는 거예요?
자기네들이 직접 체리를 공사할 수 없는 상황이거나 모자란 양을 채우기 위해서 밖에서 사온 걸 수도 있고, 정확히 이게 뭐 수출용인지는 모르겠어요. This one is like Y grade?
Yeah, these are for like commercial beans.
오케이. 수확이 맞고 본격적으로 시작이 안 돼서 체리가 지금 없는 상태라서 원래 여기 피킹부터 디펄프 해서 이제 드라잉한 그 전체 과정을 다 여기서 컨트롤 하는데 지금 현재는 그럴 수가 없어. 파치먼트 밖에서 사와서 모사 싼 거. 와우.
In case the weather is very bad for a week and all that, we don't have place. Hardly once a year we may use it.
How many bags can you do at a time in these?
7,000 per barrel wet parchment.
And how long does that take?
3
days?
Yeah. Because we don't have a pre-dryer. Pre-dryer is something which removes the surface moisture.
When you use them, you use wood or coffee
Coffee
chaff?
husk.
Coffee husk.
Wood. We have enough and more coffee husk, so we use coffee husk.
How long will it?
48 to 72 hours.
And that will be the 10%, 11% moisture.
Yeah. So ideally around 10
Do you have a manual for temperature setup
for this one.
Yeah.
I don't have.
얼마 올라가면은 기계가 꺼진다든지 아니면 얼마 정도로 셋업해서 유지한다든지 그런 매뉴얼이 있는데 지금 물어보니까 그게 없다는 것은 이제 이게 얼마나 올라가는지 모른다는 거죠.
일관되게 하기 어렵겠네요.
좀 탄내도 많이 나고
시스템 어떻게 보면 클라이언트가 그렇게 강하게 요구를 안 해서 그런
뭔가 이제 본인들도 이거 필요성을 지금 못 느끼고 있는 상황이니까 더 이제 이거에 대해서 그냥 아무 생각이 없는 그런 거 같은데, 왜냐면 이제 중미 뭐 남미 이런 데 가면은 사람 쓰는 비용이 비싸기 때문에 그런 거를 진짜 효율성으로 넘기기 위해서 이제 기계 건조구가 도입이 된 건데, 이제 여기는 좀 다른 상황인 것 같아요. 물어보나 보죠. 온도 혹시 그 좀 유지 설정할 수 있는 45도로 뭐 한 3일 건조해달라, 50도 넣으면 꺼지게 매뉴얼 같은 거 좀 넣고 테스트해서 좋으면 많이 사겠다.
What kind of ceremony?
This year we're doing a library. Last year we did women's health. The year before we did a school. You can't just come in there and take coffee, you know. We gotta give back to the people. Glad you guys are with us.
여기는 어디죠?
도서관 그 개관 축하 세레모니 현장에 와 있습니다. 우리를 이번 여기 파푸아뉴기니에 데려와준 친구들이 매년 이 소셜 프로젝트 같은 거를 한대요.
Your generosity, a highlight of its dual grand opening July 23rd, 2025, has profoundly impacted Nirima Primary School in Papua New Guinea. Thank you. Ikram.
몽피라고 여기 파푸아뉴기니에 되게 큰 엑스포터가 있거든요. 거기 드라이빙 방문을 하고 우먼 프로듀서드 방문을 이제 하려고 하는데 그들의 커피를 구하기 위해서 한 5년 정도 지금 무슨 연유인지는 잘 모르겠는데 계속 뭔가 일이 막 되려다가 뭐 빠그라지고 다시 한번 이제 뚫어보려고 이제 가는 건데, 이제 저기는 이제 5년 애걸복걸 했는데 우리는 저렇게 한 박스 뭐 좀 가져가면 우리는 뭐 럭키지 뭐.
번역이는 이제 첫 때는 점점 첫 때부터 좋아지는 것보다 아주 오랜 시간이 걸리는데 원래 내가 뭔가 성과를 못 내도 괜찮다.
어제 그 커티스가 한 말 기억나죠? 제발 니네 커피 좀 먹게 해줘.
Safety for exporting, we have a dry farm Yamaniki and also one Hagen. Also to go
이코 전 세계 4대 글로벌 공구물 회사 어떤 커피만 하는 데가 아니고 글로벌 커머셜 회사인데 여기 이제 대부분의 커피 거기다 북반구와 남반구 있는 그 사이가 딱 적도잖아. 이 적도는 시즌 부분이 명확하게 농봉지 이렇게 구분이 돼야 되는데 계속 일을 해야 되는 거야. 메인 시즌 때는 사람들이 사러 오는데 비시즌 때는 바이어들이 별로 없으니까 판매하기가 굉장히 힘들어. 또 한편으로 우리 입장에서는 좋은 게 새로 수확되는 것들이 좀 진행되니까 품질도 안정적이고 자금 운영도 안정적이고 항구 비용도 굉장히 북반구 남반구 이렇게 신선하게 커피를 쓰고 중간에 콜롬비아나 파푸아뉴기니 이런 데서 신선한 커피 계속 받습니다.
Nice to meet you.
So we have some buyers along with us this time, and then Momo's from Korea. Their second trip here, haven't bought yet, but they're interested in Papua New Guinea. And then Priscilla, she had dropped off some samples yesterday. So, yeah, so Ghana had sent me a list of coffees on the table, so that'll be great for them to get a good range of it.
궁극적으로 지금은 좀 블렌더는 좀 빨리 씁니다. 수분 활성도 문제로 신선할 때 처음에 가져와서 인식하면서 가는 게 가장 생두 수분 11% 전후 이렇게 맞춰놓고 이 수분 함량이 뜻하는 게 뭔지를 생각을 해보고 이 커피도 마이크로라시나 그런 블렌더가 커피가 어떻게 만들어지는 건지 그리고 그 안에 있는 그 수분이 뭘 의미하는지를 생각을 해보면 블렌더는 어떻게 만드는 게 더 좋은지 구입을 할 때는 그리고 쓸 때 주의사항을 커피를 조금 신중하게 하다 보면 알게 되지. 그 3주 동안 매일 아침부터 저희까지 갑자기 86점짜리가 하나가 아니고 그럴 때 진짜 힘 빠지는데 여기는 기대 이상이 갑자기 처음부터 이 정도 커피가 있다고 라는 게 두 개가 지금 나오네. 이제 스몰 프로듀서 쪽이겠지. 마이크로가 다 이 정도면은 얘도 한 백 가져가도 이렇게 하고 싶지. 근데 이제 이거는 이제 이 컵만 보면 안 돼. 이 샘플만 볼 수도 있기 때문에 이 커피에 우리가 알 수 있는 역사, 이 농장의 어떤 흐름이 있는지를 조금 보고 그런 것들이 조금 안정적이니 꼭 사가고 싶다. This is kind of close to wash it and more complex. This is more honey. So how different?
Normally, coffee coming out of Morocco is usually honey taste.
Do you think that like the process way of do it is like all the same, but it's just showing taste different?
The thing about Morocco is it's very rugged. When they process the coffee, they don't immediately go to wash it.
yes.
They leave it in the bag next couple of days while they go pick the other coffee and then come and process.
In
And
the cherry or
they pulp it and then they leave it in the bag.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They leave it for a couple of days, at most 2 days, and then they take it to the river and then they wash it. They don't immediately wash the coffee.
but just because of the logistics they want
Yeah.
they don't want to keep on making little trips for
Yeah.
small amounts, so they want to gather a bigger amount and then go to the it's like an accidental honey or
It's like a
anaerobic.
like
They do mechanical pulping. I mean traditional pulping. This is
Hand
yeah.
pulp.
It's a video hand pulping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So this traditional method of processing, they actually prefer that over pulpers. They prefer that because it doesn't. They say that the pulping machine cuts the coffee beans, so they would rather have whole beans. Thank you for having me here. So I work with smallholder coffee farmers and in rural places in PNG. Basically, what we're trying to do is incorporate the new way of coffee. Specialty coffee in PNG is not as exposed, and that's where I want to connect rural farmers with specialty markets. So this is what we do is we basically do training. All of this is my work. Keep on going about a day and a half non-stop travel.
Wow.
It's regardless of the weather. So I store all the coffee in grain pro. So in terms of quality, dried properly to about 8 to 9%. And then when we store it and when it travels out, it goes down to 10, 11%. The moisture in the bag,
Oh, that's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, but that's why we have to make sure that we bring out the best coffee. Yeah, valuable. So that's the part about transporting the coffee. And then in terms of awareness, like last year I spent 6 months, December to May. I was in Morocco and we're talking about quality of coffee, how to improve the quality of coffee, and then roasting. So they have to understand that when the coffee bean goes to the buyer, the end product is you drink it. So most of them haven't tried brown coffee, and it's not just in Morocco, but it's everywhere in PNG. Most people don't what the coffee tastes like. So part of going into these communities is, look, this is what your coffee tastes like. And one of the things I'm working on is trying to get cube processing training for farmers. Train them so they can bring that level of coffee in the community, in the villages. So then people like you, at the end of the food chain, will enjoy the coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our company in South Korea, we started our company in 2007. We started at a very small, tiny takeaway cafe. But once he started the cafe, he got into the quality matter. 2009, actually, he found out there is a SCA event going up in Atlanta, United States. He decided to visit there, and then he suddenly found out like there's like beautiful, amazing specialty coffee industry out there. Since 2012, he's starting to travel all the world, especially from Central America to Latin, we go Africa, wherever it is. The most beautiful thing about coffee is that like we try to find value out of it, especially like coffees from what you guys doing here in PNG. The idea is to like find a build a long-term relationship throughout the origins and the producers. We didn't actually know there are existing producers in PNG, but we are so glad that your cups throughout the cupping, the coffees are amazing. Of course, like it's comparative, like it's hard to like compare like other origins, but we are so much like into the story behind the scene. We love to bring this coffee and we start building our relationship.
So thank you very much for coming here. We had a bit of issue. There's a tribal conflict. and they burnt down my village. At the time he asked for some coffee and I was like, I can't, I'm in the middle of something else, like something really big happened. So we went to Moresby till everything had to calm down, settle down. And then I came back and I went straight to Marawaka to take some coffee out. But mom and dad, we're slowly trying to rebuild our lives. And that's what we say, through coffee is going to rebuild us. Where that's through the work with that coffee rural communities, but my community as well.
Really good to meet you.
Yes.
And like we've been so interested in
와우. 한번 주세요. 유, 굿.
Yeah, Indonesia has a huge opportunity in the food and beverage. So they're open for big opportunities, right? Because the population and the growing economy. So, but we above the 86, not commercial. Even blender, we use 86.
불안한 부분들이 많은가 봐요.
여기 뭐 지금 구조도 좀 뭔가 일단 명쾌하지가 않다.